wonderful parts is we have historians and we have tours as part of BJHI. And two of the people who are on the board, and Serena introduced them, are going to come up for a 5-7 minute segment. Do you hear that, guys? 5 to 7 minutes? Between you, not individually. Of a discussion, really to tell you little tidbits of things that they tell and talk about in terms of their recollections of Brooklyn. And it should be enjoyable and fun. And Ron, you got to tell that one story for sure. You said you promised. So Ron Schweiger and Ellen Levitt.
Hi, I'm Ellen Levitt. I've lived here all my life. I've been part of the Brooklyn Jewish Historical Initiative for about 10 years, I guess. And being a Brooklynite, being a Jewish Brooklynite is very important to me. And I guess I'm best known as far as putting those together for having written a book called The Lost Synagogues of Brooklyn. Now before you say, that's kind of depressing, no, it's not. There are bittersweet elements to it, but my feeling is I've been documenting former synagogues that are all around the borough, and I don't want them to be forgotten. It's important to remember our roots and how they moved around. Believe me, there are plenty of active synagogues, and I enjoy going to them, but there's also former synagogues. You know, for example, in neighborhoods such as Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, East New York, New Lots, Canarsie. And I hope you heard me before. I was using my teacher voice, right? So by studying these former synagogues, we learn a lot about our past, you know, and it's not just one group. I've documented synagogues that are from, you know, obviously Ashkenazic congregations, also Sephardic congregations. They have different decorations. They've got memorial plaques. People who are fascinated by genealogy like to learn about these things. And I don't want to sweep this kind of information under the rug. It is worthwhile studying. You know, so I encourage people not to overlook, you know, what seems like a little bit discomforting, you know, former synagogues. There are fascinating stories here, and it also helps us build bridges with other communities in the area, because some of these have become churches. Some of these former synagogues have become medical centers or schools, etc. So, you know, if you want to take a look at this book later on, I'm happy to talk with you about former synagogues. And if you want to learn a lot about Brooklyn itself and Jewish Brooklyn, you don't just look at the current synagogues, you look at the former ones too. That's what I think you should do. And some of them are really pretty.
Hi, I'm Ron Schweiger. I'm the official historian for the Borough of Brooklyn. I was appointed in 2002 by Marty Markowitz. And by law, each of the 5 borough presidents must appoint a borough or county historian. So I'm the one for Kings County. Every county in the state of New York must have a county historian. And our salary is, however, Marty Markowitz, for the 12 years he was the borough president, each year he added another 0 to my salary. Marty and I have known each other since 1974. He won't admit it's that long. There's another thing he won't admit to. He's 4 days older than I am. Okay. Anyhow, Howard insisted that I tell you this first. How many, we just had the World Series, baseball. How many of you here are old enough to have gone to Ebbets Field? Okay. Well, growing up, I was born in 1945. I'm 79. And during the baseball season, which started in April, sometimes it was during Passover. Well, my older brother and I, we would go to Ebbets Field, and my mom would pack for us chopped liver sandwiches and matzah. and we brought that to Ebbets Field. All right? That's what we did, with macaroons too. Okay? So that's one of the memories I had. One other memory, it's not a memory, it's part of Brooklyn Dodger history, Jewish history. When Jackie Robinson started with the Dodgers as the first black player in Major League Baseball in 1947, one of the first members of the team that went over and sat next to him was the first base coach named Jake Pitler, who was Jewish. Okay. That's a little Brooklyn Dodger Jewish history. Now, we are in downtown Brooklyn. We're in Brooklyn Heights, Fulton Street. How many of you went shopping in Abraham and Straus? The best store ever. But the original store was not Abraham and Straus. Now, some of you might know a little bit of what I'm about to tell you, but I'm sure most of you in here do not know. The original store was called Wexler and Abraham. Joseph Wexler and Mr. Abraham. I'm not double talking, that's his name, Abe. Okay? And the store was not the one that we went shopping in. It was on Fulton Street, but further down, closer to Flatbush Avenue. When the Brooklyn Bridge opened in 1883, one of Abe's friends said, listen, Abe, you ought to move the store down Fulton Street closer to where all those horses and wagons are coming off that new bridge. You'll make more money. That was in 1883. In 1893, Isidore and Nathan Strauss, who helped establish Macy's in Manhattan, Mr. Wexler left. Isidore and Nathan Strauss crossed the river to Brooklyn and joined Mr. Abraham. 2 years later, the new store opened up. That's the one that we've been shopping in. It opened in 1895. Okay. 2 clerks that worked for Mr. Abraham in very early years was Simon Bloomingdale and, give me a second, what's the one on Fifth Avenue? Not Bergdorf. No, Benjamin Altman. Benjamin Altman and Simon Bloomingdale were clerks that worked for Mr. Abraham in the early years. And of course, they left and did their own department stores. So that's a little bit of the history. Isidore and Nathan Strauss and Mr. Abraham were multi-millionaire philanthropists, donating a lot of money to Jewish causes and other causes as well. Mr. Abraham, a group of people wanted to establish a Jewish hospital in the late 1800s. And Mr. Abraham said, you raise X amount of money by a certain date in December, and I will give you the additional $10,000 to make it $100,000. That was Mr. Abraham, and helped establish the Jewish hospital in Brooklyn. Okay? Isidore and Nathan Strauss, in 1912, went to Palestine, and they were ready to come back to New York. Well, Nathan said, Isidore, you go ahead. I'm going to stay here with Lena. Isidore never made it back. He was on the Titanic, along with Mr. Astor and along with Mr. Guggenheim. Jewish history. Thank you. And by the way, there's a book you have to get if you can. It's out of print, but libraries might have it. The History of Brooklyn Jewelry, published in 1937.
Abelo?
Okay? I have the book.
Abelo?
Abelo, yes.
I used it for this.
Mr. Abelo. She knows it, okay? It's a wonderful book in the history of my synagogue in Flatbush is in there, and many other synagogues. Mine goes back to 1911. Thank you both, and enjoy the evening. And happy Hanukkah.
So I want you to, so one of the things that we did this for is not only the two of them, we have others. So whether it be a synagogue or whether it be another organization, we have available to you if you want to have a historian for an evening telling these stories. It makes for a wonderful, wonderful evening. So be in contact through the website that you're interested in that, and it's something we can set up because we want to reach out more and more. We have the resource, and we want people to be in, and one of the things in what I was saying, one of the jobs that we have is we have to have a more literate community. They don't know enough about our Judaism, as you would say, they don't know enough about Torah, and they don't know enough to stand up and celebrate who we are today. That's something that we all have a responsibility for. All of us have a responsibility. And as you'll hear again in the discussion here, that'll come when we have our inductees up, they're doing a lot in terms of not only educating our community, but having them meet with other communities to educate them directly on who we are. So thank the two of you for a wonderful segment.
Thanks.